Hello all, welcome to One People with Rakshita. Today I bring you someone who helps people live a stress-free life that is filled with confidence and clarity. He has around a decade of experience of working with some of the mega corporate giants that there are, from HCL to Religare to Amazon, just to name a few. He has touched and transformed over 50,000 lives. It takes me great pleasure to bring to you Alok Taunk. Alok, I have a wonderful line of questioning ready for you. Before I move ahead, I just want to ask you one question. I want you to tell us, who is Alok apart from the person who tells us about confidence, about clarity, about mindfulness? Who is Alok as a person?
Thank you, Rakshita. First of all, I'm super excited, super humbled to be here on this platform, this wonderful platform that you have created, One People. The name itself is so catchy. And thank you very much for being who you are. Thank you very much for doing what you're doing. Thank you very much for spreading that light. And I'm humbled to be here. So coming back to your question, that's a wonderful question. Actually, I never gave a thought on that. Who is Alok? Because generally what happens with us is we are always into our execution mode, right? But this gives me an opportunity. This question gives me an opportunity to take a pause right now. And together, let's focus on that. I think Alok is just another person with an objective, with an aim to spread the learning from his own learnings of life. The thing is, this person Alok is no special because he started his life, his education, his career, and everything in a very conventional way, in a very normal way, wherein, yes, there was this management education, got into sales, the very average dream that a person carries to have a good job and get married and take care of the family. But over a period of time, there were certain realizations. There were certain aha moments which helped him to take a U-turn. And, we all have those moments in our life wherein you truly wake up. Physically, we wake up every single day, but you wake up spiritually, you wake up consciously, and then there is a realization that, hey, you know what? There is much more to do. So I think, yes, there was this transition in this person's life, Alok, and just another person, nothing special. But the only thing that keeps me going is that vision and that idea to help others with whatever has helped me in my life. Yes. Yes, Rakshita.
So Alok, you talk about aha moments and you counsel so many people. You have counseled over 50,000 people. That in itself is an insane number. So I'm sure you've had your shares of ups and downs. So tell us, what was the biggest major highlights in terms of failures that you came across? Teachers, tell us about those failures.
See, the thing is, Rakshita, the beauty of human life is that nothing happens overnight, right?
Very true.
You go through a process. Life itself is a process. Failure is a process. Winning is a process. Getting up is a process. So not just one, not just two, not just three, but there are multiple series of failures, honestly, that I've been through. Failure in terms of selecting the right kind of career opportunity. Failure in terms of getting good marks in school. Failure in terms of really excelling well in terms of higher education. Failure in terms of giving out or bringing out the results in terms of your sales, whatever profession I was in. Multiple failures. In fact, I also had a startup which failed pretty bad. I fell flat on my face. But the beauty of failure is that, Rakshita, that it helps you to dive deeper and reflect on what went wrong and how can you fix the time to come. The thing is, I do often say this, that a failure is no longer a failure if you learn something from it, right? And every time I failed, of course, there was a knee-jerk reaction. But the very moment, this mindfulness practice really helped me to understand that, okay, I failed. Now, instead of looking back and why did I fail? Why did this happen to me? There was this transition which came in, which really shifted my focus to focus on the future in terms of, okay, this is what has happened right now. I need to accept it. And what can I learn from it? At the time you start asking that question, your mind starts looking at a very different direction. Now it is not blaming. Now it's not pointing fingers at anyone, but now it is only focusing on what next. So in terms of failure, I would say, Rakshita, to come back to your question in a very precise manner, it was really a rock bottom moment for me when I failed in terms of my startup. Yes, because at one end I left my job where I was really well placed, and then when I got into the startup, I invested all my savings, this and that, and after 8 months I realized it's not going anywhere. So I had to
How old were you when you started doing your own thing, into entrepreneurship?
I think it must be 25, somewhere around 24, or yes, 23, 24.
But
if I'm not
isn't that
wrong.
a good age to fail? Younger years, I mean, it's a good age to try out new things and fail and get learnings from that.
Yes. See, the thing is, philosophically, yes, but emotionally, no.
No.
because the thing is, philosophically, we understand everything, but our survival brain is such that when you fail, it really hits you hard because you are trapped in that moment, right? That how can this happen to me, or why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong, etc., etc. Why me? And that knee-jerk reaction, we cannot escape from that. But yes, with that mental training and with that elevation of awareness, you are able to step back. You are able to look at that thing from a different perspective and ask some smarter questions that will help you to focus on the positive sides of that event. But yes, I do agree. That's a good age to fail. Yes.
Because I remember in my 20s, I was all about experimentation. I started with internships, did corporate jobs, went to the States for education, got hired there, came back, quit the job, started a business. It wasn't runaway success, but it was decent success, made some money out of it, stepped out and traveled the world. I know it sounds like a very fancy thing, but I do not come from a family of riches or with a silver spoon. So I think I was lucky or probably courageous to have those adventures. I mean, those adventures continue till now, but I think trying out, because see, the belief is we have one life, but it doesn't mean we just do one thing and die as one person.
Yes.
So that's why I feel that, the more and more things you try, yes, many of them will not work out, but the ones that do will be very rewarding.
Exactly. And very well said, Rakshita. And that is what shapes our personality, doesn't it? I mean, everything that you do, every step that you take, every action that you take, every choice or every decision that you make, that somewhere impacts your blueprint that you're carrying in terms of your experience, in terms of your belief system. For example, if you started exploring the world at a young age, then there is some kind of belief system that you are integrating in your subconscious that, yes, I can do it.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm capable. Yes. I'm enough.
I'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
It's the failures. I think the lessons most of us, learn is we'll be okay. Of course, until and unless we're not jumping off the cliff. In that case, we're going to die. But usually we're going to be okay. So Alok, since you teach a lot about mindfulness, I really want to understand what is mindfulness. It's meditation, mindfulness, having an intentional life. These are the new words which are being thrown around very, very casually and also in a lot of instances. So please help us understand what is this mindfulness or living with intention, if I might call it that.
Yes. The thing is, Rakshita, I believe that mindfulness is one single trait or ability that we need to develop. Now, why do I say that? So first, let's understand what is mindfulness. In the most simplest manner, I like to define mindfulness as the process of building awareness, the process of elevating our awareness, the process of staying conscious. Because the problem with us is the very nature of our mind is to wander. The very nature of our mind is to just hop from some thoughts of the past to some thoughts of the future. And I came across this study, and that study said that for more than 64% of the times in a day, an individual is in the past and the future. 64%. And when I talk about the past, I'm talking of, that's a huge number, alarming number. When I talk about the past, I'm talking about the guilt and the regrets of the past. When I talk about the future, I'm talking about the insecurities, the uncertainties, the ambiguities of the future, the fears of the future, right? If you look at an average individual out there, most of the times, either that person is daydreaming or maybe having some kind of conversations in his mind, in
Yes.
his or her mind, or maybe creating some scenarios in his or her mind that this might happen, that might happen. Then my question is,
that is mind, right? You cannot stop wandering of the mind, thinking of the possibilities, thinking of the choices and the options future might present. Or,
yes,
of course, as you mentioned, the guilt of the past or the scenarios. You mentioned a lot of times you questioned why certain things happened to you.
yes,
So, that is mind. How does one try to control it, if at
yes,
all we can?
yes. See, the idea is not to control the mind. The idea is to train our mind so that it can stay in the present for maximum amount of time. So yeah, the idea is not to fight it, because every time if you end up fighting your mind, you are the one who lose. That's for sure. You are the one who lose, because now you're fighting against the nature of the mind, that it keeps on wandering. So mindfulness, certain practices that we do, it helps us to retrain, to recondition our mind to be in the present. It is just like, I like giving this analogy because it fits really well.
Okay.
Just think about a mother who's sitting with her child, and this child has recently learned how to crawl. Okay. And the mother sits with the child, and the mother gets busy, and all of a sudden she realizes the child has reached the other corner of the house, the corner of the room. And now she gets up, picks the child, and places the child next to her. And again she gets busy, and the child is somewhere else now, because the child has learned to walk, right? Learned to crawl.
Yeah.
But what is the mother doing? She's reinforcing this habit in the child, that this is where you need to sit. This is your place. You don't have to crawl around. This is very hard. So every time she picks the child up and places next to her, that's the training for the child. Similarly, our mind is just like a baby who has learned to crawl. So our mind also keeps on crawling in the past, crawling in the future. You end up reminiscing about some beautiful memories of the past, or maybe it is some kind of regret or guilt. Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Or maybe it is about the future anxieties and worries and fears. So the thing is, Rakshita, a present mind is a calm mind, and a calm mind is a productive mind, right? If your mind is in the past or the future, it's not calm. You will have some kind of anxiety or fear or sadness or doubt. But when you are in the present, you are calm. And that's one of the reasons why we feel so calm after meditating.
Yeah.
Because every time we meditate, we are in the present.
We are centered. We
are centered
on our own body and breath.
Yes, we are more aware. We are more conscious. Yes. So mindfulness in a nutshell is mental training to help your mind to be in the present.
So since we are talking about mind, we all know that, mind is such a powerful tool. And it's a subconscious which actually shapes our reality. And meditation and mindfulness have been talked about and spoken about from ancient times. It's been written about in our Vedas, it's been written about in ancient scriptures. However, it's so ironical that today we as people, our kids, forget about practicing these things. They're not even aware of the power of a mind, the power of a subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that you feel, how and what one can do to incorporate that power, be aware of that power and bring it to our aware subconscious? Like, I know we do things, we handle tasks, we tackle projects subconsciously. We come out a winner when we practice, we train for it, we are able to achieve those goals. But those are, I feel, unaware subconscious. So how can one bring those actual habits of utilizing their mind to their benefit, to their aware subconscious?
That's a good question. See, ultimately, we end up following patterns, right? And Rakshita, human beings, we are creatures of habit. So any habit that we build over a period of time consciously, that starts directing our actions and our behavioral patterns, right? So it is said that we first build habits and then habits build us. So that's how things work. A simple example is brushing our teeth every single morning, right? No one has to remind us. No. But it has become such a natural autopilot way of starting our day. We directly go to the washroom or we go to the bathroom and we start, brushing our teeth. There's no reminder required. Why? Because this is an ingrained habit. It's an ingrained habit. So start small, take smaller steps, one step at a time, and make it as a routine. Now, what you can do is, just by practicing few minutes of breath awareness can be the best start point. By breath awareness, what I mean is, wherever you are, sitting, standing, lying down, walking, driving, no matter what you're doing, right? Just become aware of your breath.
Yeah.
And breath can be one of the most powerful anchors that will help you to stay in the present. Why? Because number one, we always breathe in the present. And number two, our breath is always available with us. So you don't have to find an anchor. So wherever you are, just pause, focus on your breath, and you don't even have to close your eyes. You can do this while driving. You can do this while you're waiting for someone. You can do this while you're trying to fall asleep. So this is such a beautiful practice and very flexible practice. And just by doing that, just do it for 60 seconds. Just do it for 120 seconds. That's it. And you'll find yourself so very calm, centered, and focused just by doing this. There are many medical and scientific advantages of this.
Yeah.
Couple of things, if I have to tell you, just by doing this, we are down regulating our amygdala. Generally, we talk about this amygdala hijack, wherein we get into the fight and flight response. Just by doing this, you are able to calm your amygdala. You are able to calm your mind. Number two is, just by doing this, we are able to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is directly linked with our relaxation response. Let's do this, Rakshita, so that our audience can also do this with us. Okay.
Definitely.
What I want you to do is, just relax yourself right now, and with your eyes open or closed, whatever you are comfortable with, just focus on your breath. Okay. Just focus on your breath. And as you breathe in, mentally tell yourself breathing in. And as you breathe out, mentally tell yourself breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Two more, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. That's it. Yes.
It feels wonderful.
It feels wonderful. And we can also have an alarm on our phone, or kind of a reminder. After every 2 hours or after every 3 hours, you do this for 2 minutes and you'll feel refreshed.
Yeah.
And you're refocused.
Yeah, because it's so tough, even noticing your own breath as we're going along the day. Now, currently, kids also are so stressed. So are elders, young people working in corporates. Kids' results are out. So I'm getting questions on my Instagram page. Ma'am, our result is out. We are not feeling too great about it. So the disappointments are creeping in. And even with young professionals, they're always, many people travel, a lot of distance to reach to their workplace. They work tirelessly and then they come back. And when I was in the corporate culture, when I was working in a proper job sort of a scenario, I never realized I ever took time, even you're talking about breathing, to even notice if we were breathing. Yes. So I think it's a very simple yet very powerful exercise. And anybody under a stressful situation, anybody who's having anxiety or just feeling the pressure of a situation can do it for 30 seconds or a minute, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, Rakshita, you brought this point, and I would like to expand on that people are really going through a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, whether they are students or maybe professionals, working professionals, entrepreneurs, homemakers, or whosoever it is, right? One of the patterns that I've seen, I'd like to share here, and that pattern is that we are constantly fighting our own expectations. This is one of the reasons why we feel stressed.
I would like you to elaborate on that.
I'll go deeper into it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a student. A student is consciously fighting his expectations of particular marks or particular percentage that he needs in that examination.
What do you mean by fighting?
Fighting in the sense, I need this. I need this much. If I don't get this, then maybe I'll not get the best kind of college, or maybe I'll struggle with the admissions. What will I tell my parents, or how will they react at this? How will I answer my friends, or how will the society judge me, or the extended family, the cousins, this and that. So more than how you would feel about those marks or those percentage, or you are worried about how will others react to it. And that's where the pressure, you're just building up the pressure. You're building that unnecessary pressure on yourself, and that is what creates a lot of stress and anxiety. Now, the same thing is with the working professionals. The same thing is with the business people. The same thing is with the homemakers. Now, the thing is, it's really important for us, number one, to accept the situation as it is. When something has happened, when you see that the reality is not as per my expectation, Rakshita, when I see that, okay, I expected certain things to happen in a certain way, it has not happened. I can see it right in front of me. The first thing is to accept it the way it is. When you don't accept it, you are in a constant state of denial. And that constant state of denial will only tear you apart. If you really want to make some kind of progress, and if you really want to take charge of that situation, the first thing, the prerequisite here is to accept what has happened. Otherwise, you just keep on fighting with your expectations.
Right? But doesn't accepting a scenario which hasn't played out per our expectations is like simply accepting that probably you're not going to achieve that desired result? Yeah. Isn't it counterproductive? Isn't it just like you making peace with the failure, or you making peace with a situation that hasn't worked out in an ideal way, in an ideal scenario?
See, the thing is, that's second part. The first part is you need to accept it. Okay. The second part is you need to ask yourself, how could I have done this better? Yeah. Or what do I learn from this? Yes, learning. See, you will never be able to progress and graduate to step number 2 if you are stuck with step number 1. Step number 1 is to accept it. Okay, I was planning this particular outcome. I didn't get it. But now if you keep on asking, or you keep on just holding on to that grudge that why did this didn't happen my way, or why am I failing? Why am I experiencing this? You will never be able to learn from it. True. The first thing is, okay, I accept it. This didn't happen as per my expectation. Okay. The second thing is, okay, let me now ask myself, what can I change here? How can I be better the next time? What are my learnings? Then you start working on that, and then you execute. Accept, learn, tweak, and execute. Yes. It's like us saying, if there is a situation and you're not happy with it, if you can change it, go ahead and change it. Yes. If you cannot change it, then might as well, just make peace with it. Yes. Yes. At the end of the day, either take action or just let it be, because worrying about it is not going to take us anywhere. Exactly. Exactly. The thing is, when you worry about something, that is not going to help you in any ways. That's not going to lessen the problem, and that's not going to make you productive to deal with it. So it's just Isn't it easier said than done? I mean, we've had such major setbacks, and if you tell a student who's not achieved the desired marks to get into XYZ college, to just tell them, okay, make peace with it, or to tell a person who's probably lost a job, or during COVID, a lot of people faced crisis. I mean, sometimes I feel, yes, these are simpler things, be conscious of our breaths and have mindful practices, but in regular life, how easy are these to implement? And can people literally adapt them in their regular everyday lives? Yes, that's a beautiful question. Rakshita, the thing is, the aim is not to run away from that emotion. We human beings are emotional beings, right? We have a range of emotions that we experience. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, sometimes we are ecstatic, sometimes we are on the top of the world, sometimes we don't feel like doing anything, sometimes we are super disappointed in people, situations, things. What I'm trying to say here is, you don't have to run away from your emotion. You have to feel it. Okay, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm disappointed. Yes, you have to be disappointed because you were not able to match up to your expectation. Okay, that's fine. But one productive question that you need to ask in that situation is, what next? What's next? What next? Okay, I was expecting so-and-so percentage. I didn't get it. I was expecting that if I get this, then I'll be able to easily get into that particular college. Now, this is not happening. It's right in front of you. Your mark sheet is right in front of you. It's not happening. So the next question is, what next? If we start asking this question, then automatically your mind will start searching for those answers. I do like using this analogy. Our mind is just like Google. You go on Google and ask a stupid question. Google will give you answers. Yeah. Google will not tell you, come on, ask a smarter question. No, Google will give you answers. Yeah. But those answers might not be helpful. Right? Yeah. If you ask a smart question, Google will still give you answers. But those answers will be useful. So our mind is way powerful than Google, right? So what kind of questions you ask your mind, that is the kind of answers you start getting. Yeah. So I think it's a great valid point that we need to address and be aware of our emotions first, and then ask what I can do with it, what further steps I can probably take in order to solve that problem.
So
Yes.
I come to this question now, Alok. Um, this is an actually a scenario of crisis. You know, our young lot, our students, our people in corporate or young entrepreneurs. Our society, seem to be motivated by fear, by constant fear that's been instilled in us by the society, by our schooling system, by our parents. ये नहीं करोगे तो ये fail हो जाओगे, मार पड़ेगी, all those things. I really have been asking this question: how to stay motivated, not from the fear aspect, but just from the aspect of being passionate about something or being thrilled about doing that particular thing. Like, a lot of people might not enjoy studies, a lot of people might not, like the jobs they are in, but they're stuck out of a fear that, they'll not have money, they'll not have the freedom which money brings, or they will not have the opportunity which a particular percentage of marks bring. So how can schools and, enterprises or corporates address this issue and motivate everybody, especially the younger lot, motivate them not out of fear but out of, sheer passion and love for what they're doing? Is there an answer to it? I'm sorry, it's a very, very
No,
broad and probably
that's a
in-depth
very
question.
valid question. That's a very valid question. And this reflection needs to be done because this will help us to break the autopilot that we are living in. See, the thing is, one of the reasons why there is so much of fear-driven performance is because we are constantly playing on these two grounds. Number one is comparison. And number two is trying to reach the societal standards, trying to match ourselves with the societal standards. Get it? Now, just look at a child, the entire life cycle. Okay. When a child is born, comes into this world, starts understanding things, mother, father, relatives, this and that, starts walking, then education starts, right? And then we start corrupting the mind of the child, that
We
you are
are
a part
the
of this.
people who instill the
Yes,
fear, motivation out of
exactly.
fear. Yeah.
Exactly. It starts right from the childhood. Don't go there. वहां पे बहुत darkness है, वहां पे भूत आ जाएगा. Now, what are we doing? We are instilling fear, right? You don't have to go
Also
there.
trying to protect them.
We are trying to protect them.
How can we protect them? Like,
See, the thing is, what we are trying to do here is there's negative reinforcement. There can also be a positive reinforcement, right? When you say that we are creating fears, there is no such problem in reality, but we are creating a monster,
hypothetical monster.
hypothetically, and we are instilling in the child's mind that if you do this, then there'll be someone who will eat you. Yeah. This is what we literally say, right? Wo kha jayega. That monster will eat you. Don't go there, that monster. So what are we doing? It's like a virus that we are putting in the system.
At the very start.
At the very start. Yeah. Now, those ideas start becoming a reality in that child's mind.
Yeah.
Now, this is just one example. But now you look at a child who is in school. Now, we constantly say that, hey, you know what? You are a part of this particular class. There are 65 students, 70 students. You need to perform well compared to others.
Yes.
We are not saying that you need to perform well compared to what you did last year.
Yes.
We are saying that you need to perform well compared to the rest 64. And now the child's focus shifts from his own development to looking at what others are doing. Right? Now, let's come to a job scenario. The same thing happens. The one who performs good is retained in the system, or else there is, he or she falls prey to the downsizing. Right? So now again, there is a fear. If I don't perform well, I'll lose my job. If I don't perform well, again, that's a pressure. Nothing productive will come out of pressure. Get it? So I think these are the two things that we need to focus on. But now, how can we put this into practice? And, I really love this definition of success that Earl Nightingale has to say. And I do quote this at multiple places as well. Earl Nightingale says that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And I personally think these are some groundbreaking definitions that we need to teach to our children.
I would like you to elaborate on that.
Yes. So as of now, we say that, success means if you are able to have your own house, if you are able to have a stable job, if you are able to get into a good relationship, if you are able to travel the world, if you are able to buy all the brands that you wish buying. If you are going for nice vacations, then you are a successful person because your entire portfolio looks very glittery and shining. You are successful. Yes. So now what we have done is we have set the wrong expectation. We have set the wrong bar and benchmark. And this is a common benchmark that we have set for the entire society. So now everyone is trying to reach at that point. The ones who reach it, somehow, they feel that, yes, they're successful. The ones who are actually doing good in their lives, but are not able to reach that point, they'll start doubting themselves. That why am I not able to reach there? I'm not successful. The way we take medicines, there is no single medicine for all the patients, right? Every patient needs a curated medicine and the treatment protocol. Similarly, when it comes to success also needs to be individualized. And this is what the definition says. Yeah. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. By that, what I mean is, you need to first have a worthy ideal in your life. That what am I trying to reach? Where am I trying to reach? And what am I trying to achieve in my life? Right? Rakshita, the thing is, for you, success can be different.
True.
For me, success is completely different.
True.
Right? For someone else, success might be completely different. Now, how can we have the same destination? How can we have the same outcome? How can we have the same expectation and same intention and same goal points?
Journey.
Yes, that's not possible because we all are unique individuals. We are coming from a different school of thought, right? So the first thing, I think, this is what we need to teach the young generation, that first understand what is really important for you in your life. First understand what is your goal. First understand what will make you happy. First understand that where you wish to reach. Second step is, how would you like to reach there? And for that, what you need to do on a daily basis and track your progress. And if you're able to see that, yes, I'm making some kind of progress, then you are success. You are successful. And that is what the definition means, that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, when we talk about mindfulness, what will mindfulness help an individual to do? To just become aware of what's happening in me, with me, and around me. So, okay, when I experience this kind of situation, when I experience this kind of rejection, when I experience this kind of behavior, or when I experience this failure, how is that making me feel?
Yeah.
Why am I reacting like this? Why am I behaving like this? Why do I keep on running away from these kind of opportunities? Why do I do this? Why do I react? Why do I not respond? Why do I
attract a certain kind of people in my life?
Yes. Why do I keep on failing when it comes to money? Why do I keep on failing when it comes to relationships? Get it? So now you start looking at that particular experience with a deeper lens. And that's when you realize, oh, yes, you know what? There is this pattern that I've been unknowingly following. I'll give you an example. And this will help our viewers also to understand what I'm saying. I was working with one of my mentees, and she said that, Alok, I have this problem with my relationship. She was seeing someone, and she's like, we get into a lot of quarrels and a lot of debates and a lot of fights. And I sometimes feel that, is this the right person for me? And then we went into her history in terms of relationships. And she said that I've been with 4 to 5 people, very good relationships, very close ones. And then we saw a pattern. The pattern was that every time something happened, it led to a debate, it led to an argument, and then they broke off. Oh. And this particular pattern kept on repeating. What was happening here? There was a pattern. Clearly, there was a pattern. And she was able to realize, oh, yes, Alok, now I see that. Okay. Now, what was happening is that whenever there was some kind of argument or a heated conversation, she felt that this particular thing will lead to a lot of pain, and then will not talk for weeks and for months. And then it will impact my work. It will impact various different areas of my life. And that was very painful. Somewhere subconsciously, whenever this used to happen, whenever that relationship used to come to that particular point, she used to make a subconscious decision saying that, no, I want to get out from this right now, because if I keep on continuing, it will lead to much greater pain. Yes. So that's how she started taking decisions. And now she realized that maybe I was always looking out for an escape door. And every time I found that, and that was a trigger. That argument was a trigger. So every time that trigger went up, she took a decision to get out of that relationship, because she knew that this will lead me to a deeper, darker path.
Yeah.
Now, if you are not aware of this pattern, this will keep on repeating till the last breath of your life. But now when you are aware, oh, yes, you know what? This is what I unconsciously do. These are the kind of decisions that I take. Now, when you are aware, and now when it is actually happening with you in real time, you will take a pause, you will step back, and you can have a positive conversation with you, saying that, okay, this is just a fight. This is just an argument, which is very common in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because everyone comes from a different point of view. Everyone comes from a different school of thought. So if this person means this, that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. Maybe he's just trying to explain what he feels. So I don't have to be judgmental. I don't have to be defensive. Let me just accept it for once, and let's see how we can, come to a common ground with that. So this can actually save a relationship.
Yeah, you can alter and design your pattern once you're aware
Yes.
of it, basically.
Yes.
Great, Alok. I think this has been very helpful in just realizing that how being aware of your own situations, crisis, problems, failures, just being aware and accepting that, and then taking the learning from them to design your future actions can literally help us in not
Yes.
only doing the past things better, but also becoming a better and a hopefully happier human being.
Yes. And this will ultimately lead to growth mindset, because now every time you are just breaking your pattern, there's a whole new world that opens up in terms of taking action, in terms of understanding, in terms of your perspective shift. Yeah.
Great, Alok. So I have a very interesting segment, and it's a quick sort of a segment wherein I will throw in options to you, and you would just need to choose one of the two options.
Yes.
The section or the segment is called I'd rather. So
Okay.
yeah. So let me ask you. Okay.
Yeah.
So your option goes like, I'd rather be peaceful or be loved.
Peaceful.
All right. So, okay, that's interesting. I'd rather be happy or be healthy.
Healthy.
Really? Health comes before happiness.
Because ultimately, if you're healthy, you will find your happiness.
Yeah. Be fun and exciting, or I'd rather be calm and boring. I think I know your answer, but
Depends.
I'd let you answer it.
This depends because we go through different moods, right? Sometimes you just don't want to do anything. You just want to sit in one corner. And even if it is boring, you just want to be with yourself. And sometimes you just want to vent out that energy. You want to just be all over the place. So it really depends.
What would you want to be for the major part of your life?
Second one. I
Be
think
calm
that's
and boring.
be calm and boring. Yes. Because maybe I'll be boring for someone else, but not for myself.
So basically be by yourself.
Yes.
I'd rather be rich in money or I'd rather be rich in relationships.
Rich in relationships. Anytime.
It's okay if you're poor, if you don't have a nice house to stay in, if you don't have a car to drive around, but you have a lot of people around you, but you chose peace over love. So I will come back to that also.
Yes.
So
See,
yes, be rich in money or in relationships.
Yeah. See, I really believe that as social beings, as human beings, one of the wealthiest things, or one of the most expensive things that we can have are relationships, and genuine relationships wherein you can be vulnerable, relationships wherein you can be there for each other, relationships wherein that becomes your platform for growth. So that is the biggest earning that you can do in terms of your life, and ultimately money will come in if you have good relationships.
Fabulous, Alok. Yeah. Before I sign out, we wrap up this chat, I just have one last question, which I want to ask you. If there is just one thing any human being on a planet can be equipped with to win in life, what would that thing be? And how can one go about acquiring that?
Straightforward. I would say that an elevated sense of awareness. That's it. Period. An elevated sense of awareness. If the entire human race has an elevated sense of awareness, there are so many things that will be taken care of. Just by being aware, you get a higher sense of clarity. And when you have a higher sense of clarity, automatically you start making smarter decisions. But when you're not aware, you fall prey to your autopilots and you keep on doing the same mistakes. Things. The way we live, the way we do things, the way we treat each other, the way we are treating the nature, everything will be taken. Because now when you're aware, see, the thing is, just think about it. All these billions and billions of people that we have on this planet,
Yeah.
If every single person just becomes 5% or 10% more aware,
Yeah.
the kind of impact it will have in terms of the choices and the decisions they make will be the next level.
Yeah.
So
I
yes.
think that's a wonderful takeaway, Alok. It's about living an intentional life.
Yes.
It's about not just flowing away what life has to give us, but
Yeah.
literally get up, be aware, and choose our choices, actions, reactions to the situation,
Yeah.
and evaluate whether they contribute towards our ultimate goals or they do not.
Yes. Yes. Can't agree more. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think it's been a lovely chat, Alok. Thank you so much for joining me on One People. All the listeners who joined in to One People, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you taking out time and listening to the wonderful knowledge that Alok had to share. Alok is a mindfulness coach. He's been doing it for over 9 years. He's worked with over 50,000 people. You can check him out on his Instagram channel. You should also download his application called Eastern Mindfulness. And while you do that, if you enjoy this podcast, do not forget to follow and rate us. Do let me know what more would you like to listen to from One People. And in the meanwhile, do share this podcast with your friends and family, because mindfulness and living with intention is something which we can all do and benefit from. Thank you so much. See you next week, Saturday, 10:30 a.m.